Hello, you're tuning in English News Bulletin on QPVN channel. I'm Nguyễn, and now let me keep you up to date with the headlines. Vietnam seeks World Bank strategic infrastructure support. Vietnam attends UN Peacekeeping Ministerial 2025. Youngsters' creative ways of showing love to Uncle Ho. On the occasion of the 135th birth anniversary of President Ho Chi Minh, May the 19th, 1890, May the 19th, 2025. On May the 15th, in Nghệ An Province, General Secretary Tô Lâm and the Central Working Delegation visited and worked with the Nghệ An Provincial Standing Party Committee to review the implementation of the resolution of the 13th National Party Congress, the resolution of the 19th Nghệ An Provincial Party Congress, and a number of key tasks in 2025. General Secretary Tô Lâm urged Nghệ An to capture opportunities to establish itself as a leading model for modern development. He said growth must be grounded in science, technology, and human capital, ensuring harmonious and sustainable balance between the economy, social culture, and environment. The locality needs to focus on such major orientations as sustaining a stable, secure, and conducive environment for growth and improving the people's living standard. The party chief also affirmed the importance of maintaining the party's central role in all policy decisions, while asking to continue to maintain defense and security in the locality, Military Region 4, and the whole region, build a strong defensive area to protect national independence, sovereignty, and territorial integrity, firmly grasp a situation for prompt handling, and suppress ill conspiracies of hostile forces. In addition, the locality also needs to focus on maintaining border security, ensuring defense and security, building a strong people's defensive posture, particularly fostering a border of peace, stability, friendship, and development with Laos. The party chief asked the locality to streamline its apparatus following Resolution Number 18, while focusing on organizing party congresses at all levels, especially the 20th Provincial Party Congress for the 2025-2030 term in a successful way. The same day, the party chief and his entourage visited and presented gifts to heroic Vietnamese mother Lê Thị Sáu, whose two sons were martyrs in Bến Thủy Ward, Vinh City. The same day, Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính received Mariam Sherman, World Bank Country Director for Vietnam, Cambodia, and Laos. Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính noted that the Vietnamese government values the World Bank as an important, close, and reliable partner that provided significant support for and made contribution to Vietnam's socio-economic development. He expressed his desire that the World Bank would continue sharing experience and increase support for Vietnam in maintaining macroeconomic stability and promoting rapid and sustainable growth. Mariam Sherman affirmed that the World Bank would support and accompany Vietnam in this process, especially in the country's priority areas, including a proposed loan of over $11 billion for Vietnam over the next 5 years. Regarding this issue, the Vietnamese Prime Minister requested the World Bank to continue providing concessional loans to Vietnam in priority sectors such as infrastructure, particularly large-scale transportation projects, energy projects with positive environmental impacts and climate change adaptation, and private sector development. He specifically requested funding for the country to implement the North-South high-speed railway project. Continuing the 9th session of the 15th National Assembly on the afternoon of May the 15th, legislators held group discussions on the draft law on participation in UN peacekeeping operations. They all agreed on the necessity of enacting the law to establish a solid legal framework for the involvement in the UN peacekeeping operations, contributing to enhancing Vietnam's position and role in the international arena. General Nguyễn Tân Cương, Chief of the General Staff of the Vietnam People's Army and Deputy Minister of National Defense, Deputy of the National Assembly Delegation of Bình Dương Province, highlighted that the draft law has incorporated provisions allowing the participation of civilian personnel to diversify and further mobilize Vietnam's resources for the UN peacekeeping operations. The principles governing the forces' participation in this field adhere to the Four No's defense policy. He also clarified to the deputies the regulation allowing the Defense Security Council assigned the Minister of National Defense and the Minister of Public Security to decide on the repatriation of Vietnamese forces deployed in the area in case of emergency. On May the 13th and the 14th, the UN Peacekeeping Ministerial was held in Berlin, Germany, with the participation of more than 100 delegations from UN member states and international organizations. The mission of Vietnam's Ministry of National Defense, led by Deputy Chief of the General Staff, Senior Lieutenant General Phùng Sĩ Tấn, attended the event. Speaking at the event, Senior Lieutenant General Phùng Sĩ Tấn said that since May 2014, Vietnam has deployed nearly 1,100 personnel to UN peacekeeping missions, encouraged and created opportunities for female military personnel to join peacekeeping operations, while regularly coordinating with the UN and international partners to conduct training programs and international exercises. He affirmed that Vietnam continues maintaining its peacekeeping forces in the field and pledges its deeper participation in UN peacekeeping operations by considering the expansion of new types of units. Within the framework of the event, Senior Lieutenant General Phùng Sĩ Tấn held a bilateral meeting with Giles Norman, Director General of the Transnational Threats and Conflicts Bureau of Canada. He affirmed that the Vietnamese Ministry of National Defense highly values defense cooperation with Canada and proposed the two sides to effectively implement the signed MOU on peacekeeping operations and hoped that Canada would share its experience, provide support, and endorse Vietnam's initiative to nominate personnel for positions such as Deputy Force Commander and Force Commander at UN peacekeeping missions. He also had a sideline meeting with UN Under-Secretary General Atul Khare, a sideline meeting with Senior Expert, Strategic Force Development Division, United Nations Department of Peace Operations Hubertus Jurgen, and a bilateral meeting with the Lieutenant General Mohan Subramanian, Force Commander of the United Nations Mission in South Sudan. On May the 15th, at the border demarcation line of Apa Chai, Long Phu, the Border Guard Command of Điện Biên Province and the Border Guard of Mengji City under the People's Liberation Army of China held a joint patrol in 2025. In detail, the two sides organized a patrol formation from border marker number 3 to border marker number 1, with a length of 3.2 kilometers. During the patrol, the two sides together cleared the route, cleaned the surroundings of the border markers, exchanged information about the situations of the border area managed by each side. The borderline and border markers have been preserved and kept intact with no signs of violations. The two sides then met to review the patrol and agreed to continue to maintain correspondence and hotline in the coming time and coordinate to handle issues related to border management, protection, crime prevention and control. Coming up next, Vietnam and UK promote agricultural trade ties. Youngsters' creative way of showing love to alcohol. A roundtable discussions on connecting Vietnam-UK trade in agriculture, forestry and fisheries was held in London, attracting around 40 businesses from both countries involved in agricultural production, processing, logistics and trade, and representatives from UK agricultural associations. The event, co-organized by Vietnam's Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development and the Vietnamese Embassy in the UK, showcased Vietnam's key agricultural exports and the potential of its poultry industry. At the event, UK businesses presented the potential of the UK agricultural market, particularly for Vietnam's strong products such as coffee, cashews, vegetables, fresh fruit, and seafood. They also outlined the UK's quality and import-export management requirements and offered recommendations to boost agricultural trade and market access for both countries' key products. Vietnam-UK agricultural trade has grown steadily in recent years. Vietnam's agri-export to the UK hit nearly $883 million in 2024, increasing by 15.4% from the previous year. Both countries have potential for the market expansion. As technical barriers decrease and Vietnamese firms meet the UK's strict demands, agri-exports to the UK are expected to undergo progresses in the coming time. The ABC News of Australia recently published an article titled "Why Are Australians Obsessed with Bánh mì? The Vietnamese Role with Complex History?" to reflect the increasing appeal of bánh mì in the land of kangaroos. The article wrote that a crispy fresh baguette, briny pickled vegetables, a slick pâté and mayo, fresh coriander, chilies, and a hearty protein. These are the essential ingredients for the bánh mì, the sandwich that has become one of Australia's favorite lunch options. This delicacy has been proving its appeal in the land of kangaroos. Many diners have such great passion for bánh mì that they've even traveled to the S-shaped strip of land to learn about its culinary arts, cultures, and history. The ABC News article not only honors the taste of Vietnamese bánh mì, but also recognizes the role of this dish as a symbol of cultural exchange, reflecting the resilience and adaptability of the Vietnamese community in Australia. More than a dish, it is a story told through flavor. It can be said that the image and thought of President Ho Chi Minh not only go down in history, but also blend into the souls, emotions, and artistic creations of many generations of Vietnamese artists, recreating the past with emotions of the present to convey messages to the future. The young generation of Vietnam is not outside of that flow. Whether through simple literature pages, contemporary melodies, or images created by digital technology, works by young people are not only a form of gratitude, but also a way for today's generation to continue the noble ideals of life, to preserve the faith, national pride, and humanistic spirit that Ho Chi Minh had cultivated throughout his life. Although it has been more than half a century since Uncle Ho passed away, his image is always in the minds of generations of Vietnamese people, including today's generation. Not only accepting the ideological and moral values of Uncle Ho as part of the precious spiritual heritage, many young authors have proactively sought to express Uncle Ho's image from new and creative perspectives. From poems to contemporary songs, from sketches, animation to TikTok videos, podcasts, the image of President Ho Chi Minh has been portrayed by young people with all of their heart, sincere respect, and artistic inspiration. I chose to paint President Ho Chi Minh using tens of thousands of Vietnamese people because Uncle Ho is not just an individual, he embodies the entire nation. From farmers, workers, intellectuals to soldiers, all are moving forward together to form the image of our beloved leader. The greatest emotion I felt upon completing this painting was a deep sense of gratitude for being born Vietnamese, for inheriting such a profound spiritual legacy. I also felt a sense of pride knowing that even the smallest individual can contribute something meaningful. This artwork features a truly special technique known as hidden image transformation. Let's wait and see what image lies behind it. To have a beautiful Vietnam like today, Uncle Ho is the seeker of the nation's image, as poet Chế Lan Viên once said. and this work shows the image of Uncle Ho reading the Declaration of Independence on September 2nd, 1945. Research, exploration, creation, replication, and compliance. That is the way young people, those who could not meet beloved Uncle Ho even once in their lives, continue to nurture gratitude, contribute to inheriting and renewing the flow of literature and art, so that Uncle Ho's image not only remains forever in the past, but also vividly lives in the present and inspires the future. And that's all for now. Remember, you can always watch the news again at qpvn.vn. I thank you for watching and hope to see you next time.